Charles, just wanted to ask you initially about the situation regarding the SPL Commission into the use of EBTs and the potential of dual contracts. You've made some interesting assertions about Lord Nimmo's findings so far. How would you describe that at the moment?
Well, I think what Lord Nimmo said was what I've been saying to Rangers fans from day one, that this club went out on the pitch over the last 140 years and won a number of games, lost a few, won some trophies, and during that time 5 different corporate structures owned this club, and I maintain that from the first day I came, and I'll be maintaining it when I leave. So actually, you know, Lord Nimmo is either as daft as me, and I don't think he's daft, or we're talking the same language. Because that's the position, you know, I've always seen, that those trophies, whether the League Cups, FA Cups, league titles, were won by Rangers football team on the pitch. Who owns them is of no material content. And when me and my syndicate leave this, someone else will own them in the future, and nothing will change then. And that's what the position we've always seen it as. Unfortunately, the SFA see it completely different. Because if what Lord Nimmo Smith is correct, we're actually still a member of the SPL and didn't need to reapply. So actually, this is either people making it up as they go along, or don't know what the rules are.
Quite extraordinary, because there always seems to be a conflict over old co, new co, and some supporters are finding it hard to get a complete handle on it, but it seems to be there in black and white.
Well, it is, and I think, to be fair, it's not just the supporters that are having difficulty getting a handle on it. I'm about to start a campaign where I'm only going to shave one half of my face to keep reminding me whether this is new co and this is old co. Because when I go into a meeting, I'm never sure which one I am or which one someone wants me to be. So, you know, it is a problem, and it's a problem, you know, for us as the executive, not just for the fans to understand.
Indicative of that would be the fact that UEFA paid out over £300,000 to the SFA, which was to be handed over to Rangers Football Club. Yeah. That money hasn't been forthcoming, Charles.
No, and that's there, and it's been there weeks now. And this is again another frustration where, you know, someone decides that we are now not this and we are that, and therefore when it chooses to suit, and in this instance, you know, where you would expect, having had all the problems we've had, someone would be looking for a reason to give it us, not a reason to deny it us. And this, you know, makes a mockery of comments where the SFA have bent over backwards to help us. Well, if they had, why wouldn't they release this money to us? Because Lord Nimmo has said it is us.
And have you had a response from the SFA as to why they haven't given you that money?
No, the only communications I get from the SFA is when I'm on a charge for bringing the game into disrepute. They're the only letters I receive from them.
And in that regard, of course, you're due to go and see them next week in relation to comments you made about the whole EBTs Commission.
Yeah, we're due in next Thursday, and you know, we're very, very clear, and I reiterate again today that I've never ever questioned the integrity, the honesty, the ability of the panel. What we, and I continue to contest, is that this is not an independent commission. It's set up by the SPL. They've chosen the timetable, the agenda, which questions they're happy to answer and not happy. So I maintain that position.
I think that some Rangers fans are obviously concerned about the outcome of this commission. You've already said it's predetermined, and by definition the draft 5-way agreement would certainly suggest that that's the case. What can you do to try and allay their fears? Is there anything you can do?
Well, I think what we have to do is stay united. We have to stay together. The whole process that we've been through, we have carried that through together. The support's been amazing, and you know, there's a report out yesterday that says that we're now the 16th most supported team in Europe. At this stage last year, we were 19th. Of course, you know, being 16th puts ahead of Man City and ahead of Celtic. And of course, you know, we would expect to be bigger than smaller clubs. That's understandable, but it's great, and it's testimony to Rangers fans where we are, and we want that to continue.
On the same vein, I understand you had a meeting with the former owner here, Sir David Murray, yesterday.
I did, yeah. I met him for the first time. Indeed, I'd never even spoken to him prior to yesterday, but we had a good chat and we talked around a number of subjects. And Sir David's really keen to help the club, and you know, I welcome that thank, and I appreciated the time that we spent together yesterday. Also, you know, he got some very, very clear views in terms of EBT, and there's no one knows better than Sir David about that. And you know, he's prepared to do whatever is required to set this record straight, because he's very, very clear. But we covered a number of issues, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing him and meeting him again, because he has a wealth of knowledge of Rangers Football Club. You know, he was very, very important to this club, you know, over the last 20 years.
That's interesting you should say that, because obviously he's had a tough time of late. Some supporters are portraying him in a slightly darker light, most notably because he ultimately sold the club to Craig White.
Yeah, well, you know, he did sell the club to Craig White, and you know, that's history now. Sir David wouldn't have been the first person that had made a mistake with Mr. White. But you know, we all have to move on, and in my mind, he's been helpful to me and anyone who helps me. And whilst there may be some fans unhappy with Sir David, or there was lots of fans unhappy about Charles Green, and I'd like to think that we've moved forward on that as well.
Exactly. You say he's been helpful. Can he help in a tangible way? I know you're not going to get involved in terms of the football club in the EBT Commission case.
Well, from a tangible point of view, one of the things that we went to discuss with him yesterday was trying to acquire Edmondson House, because that would be very important to my plans. And I think we've agreed in principle a deal on that. So again, for Rangers fans and for the club, his help in coming to an acceptable deal on that is very much appreciated.
That's an interesting strategy you're taking there. What would be the purpose of the usage of this property now?
Well, we could move the administration from Hampden there, and then I wouldn't have far to travel for any of these meetings that I get called to. But we've got some plans for it, and all that will be unveiled in the future.